Hello and welcome to Boosting You, your ultimate wellness platform. I'm Dr. C. Peacock.
And I'm Shirley McLean. And I thought today we would talk about how hard it is for people to say no. I mean, I used to be awful at it and I'd say yes to everything, then quietly just stew and feel completely drained. What do you think, Sue?
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually saying no is really the ultimate self-care tool, isn't it? But I think so many people, especially women,
Mm.
are very sort of socialized to say yes, to be agreeable, to be helpful, to be the fixer. But saying yes to everything is often saying no to yourself.
That's so true. And the guilt, because people often tell me that they feel bad for even thinking about saying no, like they're being rude or they're being selfish.
Yeah, guilt comes up such a lot, doesn't it? But I think here's the thing, boundaries aren't meant to be mean. They're about being clear. Saying no doesn't make you unkind or really mean person. It makes you honest. And actually, you find that people in the long run often respect that much more.
Completely agree. I had a client recently who said she'd felt like she had to say yes to everything at work, or people would think that she wasn't committed. But the irony was that she was burnt out and less productive because she was just stretched so thin.
Yeah, exactly. Often we say yes out of fear, don't we? That is it a fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of conflict. We're really not doing anyone any favors because, we're just building that resentment in us, aren't we? And that resentment is this massive, big red flag that we're abandoning our own needs.
So when you're teaching people to start saying no, where do you begin?
I often start with values. I ask people what matters to you most right now, right this minute. I also ask things like, what do you want more of in your life, like calm or rest or connection? And if their calendars are full of things that don't really align with those values, then I suggest that perhaps they take time to reassess.
And that's such a good place to begin. I often get clients to write down their yeses for a week,
Mhm.
everything that they've agreed to. And then we look at which ones, were energizing and which ones were draining, because it's a real eye opener, that is.
Oh, yeah, what a fabulous idea. Absolutely. Because not every yes is bad, is it? But every yes has a cost, whether it's time, energy, or emotion. And if we're kind of constantly overdrawn on these accounts, then it's time to think about tightening our boundaries.
And I sometimes recommend practicing low stakes no. So, like start small, like saying no to that extra Zoom meeting or the bake sale at school, or, before working up to the biggies like family or work boundaries.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. That's a really good idea. It's sometimes about how we say no, isn't it? And people think this has to be really hard. Like, no, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. But it can be quite a gentle thing, can't it? So something like, thanks so much for asking, but I can't take that right on. I can't take that on right now. That can be the sentence that you say.
Yeah, no, doesn't need a long-winded excuse. You don't have to write a big a note just to justify not burning yourself out.
Mm, this is so true, isn't it? And here's another sort of take on it. Really, we often forget that every no is a yes to something else, isn't it? It's if you say no to that extra work project, for example, we're perhaps saying yes to our mental health or our family time or even some sleep.
And that's a beautiful reframe. And I think once people start experiencing the benefits of saying no, they do sleep better and they feel less overwhelmed. They start to realize that it's actually quite freeing, isn't it?
It's quite empowering, isn't it? Really, you actually see the shift in your clients, don't you? They're standing taller, they're speaking more clearly because actually saying no is that form of self respect. It says. I value my time, my energy, and my priorities.
I had one client who said her first real no felt terrifying, but also she was quite exhilarated by it as well. She turned down a weekend invitation that she didn't want to go to, and she spent the whole day reading in her pajamas. And she said she just felt like, I'd reclaimed a bit of myself.
Oh, I love that. And that's the magic of it, isn't it? Because it just opens up that space for who we really are instead of the version that version of us that's trying to constantly keep everybody else happy.
So, for someone listening today who's thinking, I need to get better at saying no, what would you say is a good first step?
Okay, I'd say start with awareness. Notice where your kind of automatic yeses are coming from. Is it a fear, a habit? Is it people pleasing? And then maybe just pause before you commit. Even a let me get back to you kind of message can buy you that space, kind of, so you have that time to make the choice that actually serves you.
Brilliant. And I'd say practice on paper as well. Write a few kind but firm no responses. That way, when the moment comes, you're not scrambling. It becomes easier to say it calmly and clearly.
Oh, that's such a brilliant practical kind of tip, isn't it? Because ultimately saying no isn't a rejection, is it? It's kind of redirection. So it's about you protecting your peace, your energy, your time. And in my opinion, that is top tier self-care.
Yeah. And let's normalize it. Let's make saying no as an acceptable, just as saying yes, because boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges to a healthier you.
Oh, that's really well said. That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. So here's to all those empowering those that make room for that sort of intentional, joyful life.
Absolutely. I'll second that. And now we should both really say no to one more email today and maybe go and have a brew instead.
Absolutely. So let's say a wholehearted yes to that no. And,
Yeah.
and if our viewers would like a worksheet on saying no without feeling guilty, if you just go to our Boosting You Facebook page and send us our direct message on Facebook Messenger with your email address, then you'll receive our worksheet, and hopefully that will help you to say no.
Yeah. And it's always great that, isn't it? So that you can go and again, it's a reminder, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a reminder. Hmm.
absolutely.
Okay, so I hope that's been useful and I hope you've enjoyed that as well. And for now, it's bye from me.
Bye from me.